The Leafs season comes to another disappointing end, a little Monday afternoon baseball banter, and the human element of sports, all on today's 1420 Sports Bar podcast. Four beer sports talk and a whole lot more. Let's get into her.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast. Four beer sports talk and a whole lot more. Join host Brent Radlinsky as he bellies up to the bar and gets the conversation going that'll make you think you're sitting in your local watering hole. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans. So sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get into it. All right, the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast up and running. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great articles and other podcasts. It's the guys over at Corner Booth, the No Crimps Required, Craft Brewed Sports, and the rest. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com and the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP at SeatGeek and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. And thank you to all who have been listening to the show and on the podcast form. We're up on YouTube. We greatly appreciate everybody who still tuning into this. Had a busy last few days over there at Spit Stadium, broadcasting I was the lead guy in the streaming over there on HN Live to be broadcasting the baseball games. Thursday I did 4, Friday I did 4, Saturday I did 3, and then yesterday I took the day off. The voice couldn't quite do her, as you can probably hear right now. So 11 games over the weekend. So I'm for a guy who likes talking as much as I do, even my voice took a little bit of a beat. But it was a lot of fun. Great tournament, great aim for a tournament at the University or Okanagan College. Coyotes pulled off yesterday a 10-9 win. Fantastic ball game. Was nail biter right down to the bitter end. But it was a lot of fun being a part of that and being part of the tournament around all the guys and stuff. But a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. Anyways, that was the good part of yesterday. Was watching a championship happen down there at Spit Stadium. But the bad part of yesterday is I decided to put myself through the agony of defeat, I guess, once again, with the Toronto Maple Leafs being ousted from the Stanley Cup playoffs once again in truly disgusting fashion, something that I didn't even think that Leafs, the Maple Leafs would be able to muster up to lose in that kind of a display, losing 6-1 for the second straight time at home in these playoffs to bow out to the Florida Panthers, last year's Stanley Cup champions, in 7 games. Disappointing end of the season. You got tugged back in after that big win on the road, 2-0 when they won on Friday night. You get tugged back in, the fishing lures in your yap, and you get pulled in. You put the jersey on, you go for a few beers, and you watch the game, and before you know it, it's over. The opening to that game was absolutely atrocious. Like, I haven't seen the team come out that flat in a long time. That flat in a Game 7 situation, not just to get blown out. They got outshot. They were getting beat up around the puck. They were just everything that Florida did was gold, and everything that Toronto did wasn't. It was an absolutely horrific display of hockey in that first 10 minutes. They were lucky to be in that game after the first period. Down 3 after 2, and then they made it 3-1. You're like, hey, no, and then because Domi scored early in the third period, and then it was over after that. 3 straight goals after that, and it was a 6-1 final. Marchand, of course, he got 3 points. That's 3 more points than I think Matthews got all series long. Matthews did score that 1 goal on Friday night to send the Leafs into the victory to get to themselves to that Game 7. But basically, the core 4, as they like to call themselves, which I don't like using that term, but now it's the core 4. And the other way, FORE, is in golf. See you later. Thanks. Bye. See ya. You're all done. Auston Matthews was non-existent last night in that hockey game. Mitch, Marner, we'll get to him in half a second as well, but non-existent. Nylander was okay at best. Tavares, I didn't see him out there. Morgan Riley has not been good all season long. The Leafs just stunk. They flat out stunk, and it's too bad for the fan base that's yearning for a win. I understand that every fan base is yearning for a win, but every fan base isn't Toronto Maple Leafs. Every fan base hasn't been through losing and losing and losing and losing year in, year out, not getting to the finals in my lifetime. So in 58 years, they have not been to the finals. So it does get a little bit disheartening, and you think every year this is the year. Why I think that, I have no idea. I have to start to become a realist when it comes to the world of the Toronto Maple Leafs, because this team just doesn't have it for whatever reason. You can't put your finger on it, because they've had, well, I think you can. They got rid of their manager when they brought in Treliving. When they got rid of Dubas, they brought in Treliving. They get rid of the coach in Keefe, and they bring in a Stanley Cup winning coach with Craig Berube. So that must be the problem, right? Coach, GM, no, must not be, can't be. It isn't. That's not the problem. The problem is, I think this problem is so organizational that it's right from the top down. The Shanahan plan's 9 years old, 10 years old, whatever it is. Brendan Shanahan came in to be the savior, and what's he done? Nothing. Yeah, they had the longest streak of any playoff team or any team going to the playoffs in the National Hockey League right now. But how close are they? Really, how close are they? Yeah, they were the top. There's 5 teams left as of last night. There's 4 now, getting ready to start the playoffs tomorrow night again in the semifinals, in the conference finals. But the Leafs aren't close. You look at that Leafs team, how far apart they are. The better team won against Florida. Did Toronto push them to 7? Absolutely. Was Toronto close? No, they got blown out twice. Did Toronto have a chance to go ahead in Game 3 and take a 3-0 stranglehold? Yes, they did. They're up 2-0 early in Game 3 after holding a 2-0 series lead, but they didn't. In typical Leafs fashion, they blew that game too. And they lost that game, a game they should have won. You go up 2-0 early in a hockey game, you got to hold on to those ones. You get yourself a 3-game lead. You aren't blowing that. You aren't. Not even the Leafs are going to blow it. Not even the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to blow a 3-0 series lead. I shouldn't say they won't, because if anybody could do it, it'd be the Leafs. But that effort last night and that effort on Friday night was absolutely deplorable. Deplorable. I could not believe my eyes that, well, my eyes weren't even having to tell me. I didn't see Auston Matthews on the ice. Here and there, a little bit, doing nothing really. Nothing. Matthews was non-existent. And for him after the game to say they had a lot of passengers, that's pretty freaking rich. That's pretty rich coming from a guy like Auston Matthews, who shows no emotion ever. Maybe that's just not in his DNA. Maybe it's just not in his DNA to show emotion and to be a leader like that. So don't have the C. They put the C on him. They took it off John Tavares. And I've never been a big who's the captain of a hockey team. You shouldn't have a letter sewn on your jersey to be a leader. But somebody put it on his jersey for some reason to give him a little kick in the pants. And that's the only reason why they would have taken it off Tavares' jersey and gave it to Matthews, was to give him that little boost, that little kick in the pants that he might need, because he's not a leader. He's not. He's a me guy. Scores many goals you want. Scores many goals you want. You aren't a leader. You aren't a winner. You're not. And the Leafs management put that letter on his jersey, just hoping that would be the kick in the pants that he'd need to get to that next level, to get to that McDavid level, that Crosby level, that leadership level that you're going to see, that you want to see from a team that needs a championship. The Jonathan Taves, per se. Those kind of guys. Anze Kopitar, guys who won Stanley Cups in the past. Although McDavid hasn't, but I think that they're on a path to getting one. We'll talk about them in half a second too. But I think that management blew it by putting these C on this jersey, because everybody's looking at him. Everybody's looking at him for the soundbite. Everybody's waiting for him to be the leader for this hockey team. And that team's worse off this time this year than were this time last year. They have a leader, quote unquote, who doesn't care. Shouldn't say he doesn't care. He probably cares. He didn't look like he was very happy last night, but it looked like more of a disappointment. It looked more like it was a chore for him to be in front of the media afterwards. It looked like it was an obligation instead of a part of his job, that he had to go and say something. And for him to say they had a bunch of passengers, you were the biggest passenger out there. Didn't do a damn thing. Didn't see you out there. Didn't see him. Non-existent hockey player. And to throw your teammates under the bus saying you had a bunch of passengers, that wasn't the time to do it, man. Not the time to do it. Have the sound bites, have this, and just be Be the guy. Have the sound bites. But to say you had the team had a bunch of passengers, you were the biggest passenger on that team last night. Didn't do a thing. Getting blown out on home ice. Fans throwing their jerseys on the ice. Beer. Probably shouldn't do that. Unsafe. But for Auston Matthews to be saying anything about anyone being a passenger is completely offside. There is no reason for that Yahoo to be saying anything about anyone. If anything, that guy should have been saying, I was the biggest disappointment out there. I didn't get the job done. I'm paid to do this. I'm the leader of this team. I have the C on my jersey. I do. I'm Auston Matthews, the leader of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I make $13 million. I didn't get it done. Me. I didn't do it. That's what he should have said. But no. Way too easy to throw your teammates under the bus. Real leader there. If you don't want to be a leader, then tell the coach in the offseason, tell the GM in the offseason, tell Shanahan in the offseason, director of hockey ops, whoever. Say, you know what? I'm not comfortable having this seat. That's not the kind of guy I am. That's not who I am. I'm a hockey player. I score a bunch of non-consequential goals in January and February. But when it comes playoff time, that's a lot of extra effort that I don't have. That's a lot of extra time that I don't have. I'm not that guy. I'll shoot all the insurance commercials you want, but I'm not the guy to lead this team in the trenches. I don't have that in me to be that kind of a hockey player. I'm not that kind of guy. Sorry, coach. I'm not that guy. You want to win? Maybe go get Sidney Crosby. If you look at the pregame montages and the pregame things that they were talking, and Brad Marchand had that look in his face, they're interviewing him, he knew they weren't going to lose. He knew that there's no way the Toronto Maple Leafs are beating Brad Marchand and the Florida Panthers. There's no way. And he was smirking and smiling, loosey-goosey, having a good time. He, of course, being the leader he is, 3 points. There it is. Auston Matthews, nothing. Absolutely no effort. And then to throw his teammates under the bus was a typical Matthews move, and it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me one bit. Then go to the other side of the coin. Mitchy freaking Marner and his big contract. Hey, all done right as of right now. He's not a Toronto Maple Leaf still until the end of the season. But pretty rich from him. Midway second period. Helmet off. Not a drop of sweat on that head of his. Nothing. Yelling at his bench, at his teammates, for the last time. Yelling. Wake the F up. Didn't need John Boyd Media to read lips on that one. And I'm trying to clean things up a little bit here in the 1420 podcast, so I didn't say it. But I think you guys know what I meant. Mitch Marner. Wake the F up. Not a droplet of sweat on that helmet of his. Nothing. So where was your effort there, Mitchie? You got overpaid the last time. The only time you got that contract because you're a Maple Leaf. And now he's going to get overpaid again by somebody else. And if anybody, buyer beware. You just saw it last night. Whatever stupid owner is going to overpay Mitch Marner next, you deserve it too. If anybody gives him any kind of money like that, 12, 13, 14 million bucks, McDavid money, Rantanen money. And look what Rantanen's doing these playoffs at that Dallas Stars team. Unbelievable. Marner's small, selfish, disgusting effort by him too. Disgusting. I think there's 6 or 7 game 7 situations that this core has had. Lost all 7. Total of 8 points between the 4 of them. That's the problem. Then you hear the other teams kind of defending the Leafs. You hear the other team saying, you know what, this team would be so great if the media wasn't so hard on them. Then win. This and then you had Kachuk this morning on Spit and Chicklets. Yeah, if it wasn't for that circus around Toronto, this team would be great. Then win. Then don't sign there. Then don't take the paychecks. Don't take them. You can't stand the heat. Don't go in the kitchen. Pretty simple. Not going to change. Not going to magically change overnight the fans that are Toronto Maple Leafs fans, the media in Toronto with some expectations, the hockey mecca. It is. Leafs fans right across the country. We're all disappointed last night. I had my Derlego jersey on when we went out. Was I mad? Yeah. Did I burn it? No, because I'm not an idiot. Still $300. You know, you see people burning their jerseys. So that's their right. They're stupid, but that's their right. Because you have an expectation of a team who's supposed to get to that next level, who management have told you that this is how it's supposed to be, that this is a team we got. We got defense now. When they went out and signed Tanev, they have goaltending now with Wall and Stolars. I thought Wall was terrible last night, but that's neither here nor there. Only get one goal, you're not going to win. Team's just not good enough. Shanahan's just not the guy. Same group. Same freaking group. Didn't get it done. Probably a good thing. Probably a good thing that they got beaten 7 last night, saying, you know what, we're close. You're not. The better team won. Carolina would have mopped the floor with you. And whoever wins out of the West, mop the floor with the Leafs. Would I like to see the Leafs get there? Yeah. Even if a broken clock is twice right, you never know. It could happen. But that team was awful. Awful. And for these other NHLers to be crying for the Leafs, that they're so hard done by. Trade me jobs. Trade the people who paid $900, $1,000, $1,200 a seat. That family who had to watch that crap last night. People leaving 10 minutes left in the game. Game 7, Stanley Cup playoffs. People are leaving. Are you not embarrassed? And of course, in typical Leaf fashion, it's a holiday Monday, so the radio, all the talk shows aren't on today in Canada. Overdrive's not on today. So everybody get a little bit of a chance to cool down. Little chance to cool down. You know what, Mitchie? It's okay. You tried. Auston, you tried. I couldn't believe the effort I was watching last night. And then between periods, BX said, who cares what guys are making at this point? Who cares? If they're not going, they're not going. That was the smartest thing I heard all night. If those guys aren't going, if they're not getting anything done, play the guys who are. Play the guys who are going to give you a chance to do something. Domi came out and scored. Is Domi the answer? If Max Domi's your best player and Max Domi's giving you a chance to win a hockey game, you're screwed. Domi's a nice player. But when your big dogs aren't doing it, there it is. Awful, awful effort. I just don't understand how this team can year in, year out go like this. And it's a blessing. It's an absolute blessing that they actually lost. And it's a blessing that Mitchie Marner's leaving. Because if Marner's contract was up, or wasn't up, sorry, they'd run the same thing back again and try it all over again. Because they are insane. Because that's the definition of insanity. Trying the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. And that's what you get with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Every freaking year. They don't have that guy with that little screw loose to get something done. You look at that, like I was saying earlier on about Marchand. You look at that video, like pregame and all the montage or whatever. The look on Matthew Tkachuk's face, when he was smirking at the bench, at the Toronto bench, saying, "You aren't going to beat us." Swear word, expletive. You aren't going to beat us. Smirking, just taunting them. And he's not even playing that much. He's hurt. He's still hurt from that Four Nations face off. But he'd be out there putting in the effort to get it done. Bobrovsky's a better goaltender than anything the Leafs have ever had. There it is. Pretty simple. They have guys that care. They have guys with more grit. They have guys with more determination. They got captains who actually break a sweat. They have captains that actually do something. People that have secondary scoring. Did it go 7? Yeah. Way to go. Way to go. Another year. Gone. So now you do it all over again. Like, you look behind the bench last night, and Justin Bieber, he ain't looking too good, old Biebs. He's got a bit of a rough stretch going there, but Bieber was putting in more of an effort than Mitchie Marner was. Bieber was putting in more of an effort than his buddy Auston Matthews was. I mean, there might have been some hallucinogenics or something involved in that, because he ain't looking too good. His costume was quite ridiculous, but that's what Bieber does. There's a lot going on there. I shouldn't make fun of Justin Bieber. There's some definite the Diddy thing and everything else, but it was terrible. It's a terrible effort. Terrible, terrible effort. I just don't understand how anybody could be surprised. How I was tricked. I consider myself half-ass intelligent. I was tricked. I thought 4-2 Leafs. I thought they actually had a chance. I thought they were going to get it done last night, and they didn't. Not even remotely freaking close. Now what? Now what do you do? Start fresh? How? You got Matthews for a couple more years at how much money? You got Nylander for X amount of years with so much money. You're not trading those guys. No one's knocking down the door to go to Toronto right now. Free agency pool is not that big this winter or this summer. Sorry. What are they going to do? You're gonna lose 102 points in Marner. He ain't coming back. There's no way he's coming back. Don't blame him. Don't want him. I don't know. Is there a sign and trade situation you could possibly do with Marner before it's all said and done? Probably not. They tried to move him in the offseason or the trade deadline for Rantanen, and he waited, and he said, no, I got a no movement clause. I ain't going anywhere because it's all about Mitchie Marner. I'm not going. Selfish. Did he think they were going to win this year? Did he? Or was he just not going to go somewhere I didn't want to go? I'm not going somewhere I didn't choose. Just like he did in junior hockey with the London Knights, and just he did with the Leafs, and on it goes. It's no surprise. Marner's one of the most selfish players out there. Really, really good regular season performer. But when the chips are down and the big boys get moving, look out, because Marner ain't going to be there. You watch those other teams, how they play right now. The Leafs are miles behind those other four teams. Miles. That Winnipeg series with Dallas, Winnipeg was lucky to be there. Lucky to be where they were. That Dallas team is remarkable. Edmonton's in for a rude awakening. It's funny, about a week ago we were talking about Stuart Skinner, speaking of the Leafs or the Oilers, and who wasn't. He said, no way, there's no way in hell that Stuart Skinner's ever going to play a game in Edmonton again. Back-to-back shutouts to end the series. Unbelievable how that all turns out. So nobody's back on the Skinner bandwagon. I hope the Oilers can get it done and get to the finals. I think whoever comes out of the West wins the Stanley Cup. I really believe that. The Panthers are there. And here it is. The Panthers, they're a beat-up hockey team. They played a lot of hockey. They went to the finals the year before, won the whole thing last year. They played a lot of hockey, and one of their best players is injured. They're beat up. They're right for the picking right now, and the Leafs still couldn't get it done. They're just not good enough. And I don't know why I'm surprised. I don't know why I'm shocked that the Toronto Maple Leafs once again are not hoisting Stanley Cup. I was fooled. I was duped. I thought it was done. I don't know. I was when the got. I don't know, it was a 3-0 at one point last night. I looked at the end. I said it wouldn't surprise me if it came out that in the next coming days, because you could see that the Leafs weren't going to win that game last night. It was 3-0, and Matthews wasn't even playing. I don't know if he had his skates on or what was going on, but I said it wouldn't surprise me at all that Auston Matthews asked for a trade, because it's going to get hot. It's going to get real hot in that kitchen in Toronto. That media is going to eat him up. That fan base is going to eat him up. And he's going to say, you know what? I don't want to be part of this anymore. I don't want to be part of this. We're not winning here. I don't care if we win, so I just really don't want to be here anymore. He's going to ask for a trade. It would not surprise me if Auston Matthews was moved this summer, because they're losing they're losing Marner. So there's his wingman. Not going to score a bunch of goals with whoever. It wouldn't shock me at all if there was a house cleaning like you haven't seen in a long time, because this team isn't close. This team is not close right now. They aren't better than Edmonton. They're not better than Dallas. They're obviously not better than Florida. They're not better than Carolina, who just keeps rolling and going and going and going, chugging away. There's going to be mass casualties, because it's not going to be the coach, because he's new. It ain't going to be the GM, because he's new. It's going to be players. And it's going to be guys you didn't expect. Does Tavares retire? Who else is going to take him? He's slow. Game's fast now. The game's fast now. Does he take a discount and stay in Toronto? Might be his only option. Unless he goes to one of the retirement homes in Florida or in California. Maybe he'll end up being a Duck or something for leadership. But I think Matthews, he's going to bow out gracefully stage left and say, you know what? Trade me now. I'm out. I'm good. I thought this was going to be fun being here in Toronto, but it's not. People are mean to me. People are mean to my teammates. The way all four of those guys last night, the one guy that had a lot of good things, and he didn't really throw anybody under the bus, was Morgan Riley, Notre Dame boy. He just said we're not there. We're not there right now for whatever reason. Didn't throw anybody under the bus, but this team is not rolling the same direction at all. Not at all. They don't have that guy who can get it done. They don't have that guy with that winning pedigree. They don't have a guy that would die to win. They don't have a Sidney Crosby who at the World Championships right now is pulling Canada behind him. They don't have the McDavid. Said, get on my back and let's go. They don't have that. They thought it was they were hoping that it was Matthews. They were hoping it was the captain. They were hoping the guy with the big C on his jersey would be it. But it's not him. And it ain't. It's not. It's abundantly more clear than it was 24 hours ago. It's abundantly more clear than it was beginning of the season. That this is on Auston Matthews. This is on Mitch Marner, telling his teammates, ex-teammates soon to be, to wake the F up. That's really rich coming from you. Really rich. The effort those two put in this playoffs is awful. Nylander was okay, but okay doesn't get it done. Okay never gets it done. And that's why the Core 4, F-O-U-R, is now the F-O-R-E, playing the golf early once again. They're done. They're not good enough. They fooled me. They fooled a lot of people once again. Didn't fool Leanne. She knew. She knew they weren't going to win. No hope. And why would we? Why would Leaf fans have hope? Maybe the people who were burning their jerseys last night were actually the smart ones. So they got to go spend another $300 and buy another one. Maybe the people throwing their jerseys on the ice were the smart ones. Maybe the people today, I know it's recency bias. Maybe those people are saying, you know what? I'm done. I got better things to do than invest my time in with this crap. Absolute crap. For how many years Leafs fans have been putting up with this? Every team can't win. I get it. But at least get to the finals. At least get to the finals. Is winning a round a success now? Is that what is called a success in Leafdom? If it is, I'm out. Sign me out. I want no part of it. If that's what you think gets a star on the Wall of Fame, an attendance sticker. You made it. You made it 9 years in a row. Who cares? Who cares? I just don't. I don't know what else to say. They're not good enough. They were never good enough, and they fooled me, and they fooled a lot of people once again. Disgusting effort, and you just throw up your hands and go, well, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. They've been fooling me for 50 freaking years. There's a lot of years I knew they weren't going to win. But this year, I thought it was going to be a little bit different. But until the changes are made, and until Auston Matthews is off this team, it ain't going to change. Do you need a 50-goal guy? Yeah. Yeah, you do. Do you need a guy with 100 points? Yeah. Yeah, you do. And that's Matthews and Marner. But not those two 50-goal guys, 100-point guys. They aren't the guys to get it done. Two of the most selfish hockey players I've ever seen, and their comments during the game last night and their comments post-game last night showed it all to Leafs Nation. Those two guys showed exactly who they were to everybody, to future management of other teams, to management of this team, and to fan base of this team and other teams. Those two showed their true colors, what they actually think of them, of their teammates, and of this team. They're in it for themselves, and that's it. 100% for themselves, and it's disgusting that they fooled me again. Anyways, here's my rant about the Leafs. Good riddance. Go Oilers. Apparently they're the people at the Air Canada Center, not the Scotiabank Arena now, I guess it's called, for the last probably 5 years now. But they were there was a faint "Go Oilers Go" chant going last night when the Leafs were winding down the season. But and then for the Leafs to get booed off the ice when they were doing these ceremonial, like, waving to the crowd, thank you very much, salute gate or whatever you want to call it. The fans booed them off the ice, like, get the F out of here, screw off, get off the ice. I don't want to see you guys again till at least October. And that's what they deserved. They deserve to be booted off the ice. Horrible effort. You think how much money? Like, we were watching the game last night. Well, in this segment here in a second, watching the game last night, and there was a young family there, and there was two young girls who weren't 7 and 8, and those tickets ain't cheap. I mean, they probably had a lot of screw you money to get those kind of tickets, or maybe they didn't. Maybe it's the one chance they saw their team go to the third round. But now these kids are scarred for life. They're Leaf fans and got to see the disgusting display. There was a 6-1 loss at home. At home, losing 6-1 twice, back-to-back games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you call yourselves a contending team, a team that's got leaders on it. Teams with leaders on it don't lose like that. Teams with leaders who care don't lose like that. They just don't. Anyways, that's the first segment of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. This segment is brought to you by SeatGeek.com and the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP over there at SeatGeek and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Here is a little word from our sponsor over there at Righteous Felon Jerky. Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon Jerky. RighteousFelon.com. Go to RighteousFelon.com and get yourself the greatest craft jerky in the land, and use promo code BELLYUP and save yourself 15% over there at Righteous Felon Jerky. A lot of baseball talk to talk about, not so much the games per se and what's going on, but early last week, Major League Baseball lifted the lifetime ban of Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson, amongst others, in a sweeping, and whatever reason that was behind it, I'm not exactly sure. Well, I am exactly sure why the lifetime ban went away. He's dead. That's why the lifetime ban went away. He's not alive anymore, so the lifetime ban is over. But I don't. With this regarding Pete Rose, but I still don't think that Pete Rose is going to find himself in the Hall of Fame anytime soon. You still have the voters or the writers who do the voting to get guys in, and he's still Pete Rose is still the even though he's passed away and you shouldn't talk ill of the dead, Pete Rose is still his legacy of being a shitty person is still there. Plain and simple, the guy's a shitty person, and not because he bet on baseball and everything else and tax evasion, the statutory rape of and not denying it, basically admitting to it. It's all of that stuff, and he's just a shitty human being, and that has something to do with it. So that's why Pete Rose won't get in the Hall of Fame. The betting stuff aside, the rest of it, he's just a shitty human being, and so he ain't going to get in. And I actually I was having a conversation with somebody at the office about this, and they're pro Pete Rose getting in the Hall of Fame, and I was like, well, here's the reason why he's not. And like, yeah, you can't change that. But the thing with Rose is, I don't know if his family might say, you know what, if they did want to put him in, because he was such an ass and he's me guy, he might say, you know what, screw you, and he might have told his family that, say, if they try to put me when I'm dead, don't give them the satisfaction of winning this whole thing. Don't do it. So I don't think this is going to change anything. I still think the owners aren't, or the voters are going to get him in. The writers aren't going to put him in. So I don't think it's going to change with this Pete Rose situation. And rightfully so, it shouldn't. The guy's a shitty human being, and he shouldn't be allowed in. Should the other guys be allowed in? I think the steroid guy should be. As long as they do with anything else shitty, like you don't hear those stories, but that's just my thoughts about the steroid thing. Some bad baseball teams out there, and one of them's the Baltimore Orioles, who were supposed to be this all-world team. 2023, their manager of the year was Brendan Hyde. And then they won 101 games, went in the playoffs, lost the first two, and then they were done. And then 2 years later, they're 15-30, battling out with the Chicago White Sox and the the Colorado Rockies are the worst teams in baseball. It's unbelievable how bad this team is. 15-30. That's tough to do. Like, that is tough to do. Like, the Chicago's 14-33. We knew they were going to be bad. They lost 120 games or 121 games last year, so didn't expect a big turnaround this year. But the Orioles were expected to win themselves a championship, or at least contend for a wild card spot. And now they're on the 19th day of May, 2025. They're probably looking at next year, and then they go and fire the manager and bench coaches, everybody else. And I got a kick out of the general manager of the Orioles. What's his name? Mike Elias. He said the slow start is mainly on me. I got to have a team that's a little bit better prepared on the field. So what's the first thing you do? You fire the bench coach and the bench manager. Yeah, I'm saving my job, and that's what managers do, right? I mean, that's what GMs do. When they see the crap rolling downhill, it's just an 18-wheeler rolling down the hill out of control. They got to look like they're making some kind of a valiant attempt to look like they're going to try to save the season for their team. So what do? You fire the coaches and then hope that the owner gives you a little bit of reprieve. So yeah, he's still trying. The good old college try. He stays in there and keeps going. So it's just funny when all the finger pointing happens with all these other players and all the other management. But yeah, when it comes down to it, you're out because I can fire you. You can't fire me. So that's how it works. Only got to get rid of the owner. The general manager, the owner. So if he makes it look like he's doing something, and the thing with the Orioles is they're going to probably try to save a few bucks. And they're not going to want to pay for another manager because they're cheap. They're not going to want to pay for another general manager because they're cheap. So the GM probably gave himself a favor and gave himself reprieve for at least the rest of this year, right? And that's what this guy did. Smart move, veteran move. You know, you got to give the guy a little bit of credit for doing something like that. Over the weekend, Juan Soto, he had his return to Yankee Stadium with the Mets. Yankees winning 2 out of 3. Soto didn't get the welcome back that he maybe thought he deserved for his one big year in the Bronx. The old out in right field, the bleacher creatures gave him they turned around and they were looking up at the I think it's the 4 train that runs up above Yankee Stadium there. And they said, yeah, we did not even pay attention to the guy, and the Soto shuffle everything. 1 for 10 over the weekend, no RBIs, not a good look for Soto. And apparently he isn't really having a good time, and he's not as enthusiastic, and his smile is gone, and things aren't happy for old Juan Soto. He's got 7 home runs or 8 home runs, batting 246, 20 RBIs, I think it is. And you see his counterpart, the guy who kind of took his place for half the money, and then the Yankees aren't even paying the full extent of his salary this year. The Cubs are paying for a good chunk of that. I'm talking about Cody Bellinger had a big home run last night, but Belly's he's half the money, and he's producing the same numbers that Soto is. I got to laugh at I think it was Bob Clappish of I think it's New Jersey newspaper saying that Soto, there's there's concern already in Mets land out there in Flushing, Queens, that he's not living up to his expectation, his contract. Well, what are the expectations? Like, this is unheard of money. So what are the expectations? The guy's making $51 million a year. What's he supposed to do? Like, what is the expectation? Hit 500? Hit a home run every game? Is that the expectation? Like, what comes with that kind of a number? Like, you can't expect anybody to live up to that kind of a contract. It doesn't work that way. Nobody lives up to the length of their contract. Nobody lives up to the number. Nobody. The only guy that might do it was Sidney Crosby, because he takes the 8.7 every year because he wants to have a winner around him. I still think he's going to end up playing somewhere else. I really do. Crosby, that is not Soto. But I just find it ridiculous if anybody says, yeah, he's not living up to the expectations. Well, I don't know what the expectation is. It's an unheard of contract. Yeah, well, you were 2 months into this. We better find a way to get out of this. What are they going to do? You're stuck with this for 15 freaking years. You can't do anything about it. There's nothing you can possibly do to get yourself out of this situation. And for there to be buyer's remorse already, whether this is true or not, or whether this clap is just getting clickbait because I clicked on it, whatever. It's a good conversation. Like, what are you supposed to do? Geez, that's a big contract. We better find a way to trade him. Oh, you can't trade him, so you give him a no trade. Oh, geez, yeah, give him that too. Yeah, so we gave him a box, no trade, 51 million, 2 months in. Oh boy, that's a mistake. It's funny. Like, I find it funny. I find it funny that there were a few teams that were willing to do this, and I'm glad the Yankees didn't get it. And apparently for also, I've read some other things, he really wanted to be a Yankee, but his family wanted him to go to the Mets for some reason. Maybe for the legacy, because not that many Hall of Fame. There's not many legacy players that play for the New York Mets over the years. So maybe that's it. Maybe they're like, yeah, you could be the all-time greatest New York Met. Could be. There's only 4 of them, right? I mean, how many great Mets are there of all time? Tom Seaver, Dwight Gooden. Is he an all-time great Met? 1 year, 2 years, whatever it was. Strawberry, Gary Carter. I don't know. There's probably a lot more, but you know what I'm getting at. He would never be an all-time the all-time great Yankee. He isn't going to ever match what Judge did, right? So maybe that was it. Maybe that was part of the thought process for Soto as well. Where is he going to rank on the Mount Rushmore of Yankeedom? Nowhere. Never. It's not even past Jeter. Is Jeter even on the Mount Rushmore? Right? Mariano, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mantle, Rivera, blah, 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 on it goes. Soto ain't going to surpass any of those guys. So maybe it was a legacy thing, and now he might not even get that. Buyer's remorse 2 months in, a $51 million, 765 that could turn into 800 with buy-in, buyouts, and contract, blah, blah, blah. Buyer's remorse already. Holy cow. It's unbelievable. Don't give people that kind of money. I'm never against money. I'm not. Like you guys who listen to the show over the years, and thank you very much for all that have for the 5 years where we've been doing this almost now. But I've said people make whatever. I don't care. Pay them all $500 million a year for all I care. It's the term that always gets me. You know, it's always a term that gets me that these guys make this. But to have buyer's remorse already for the Mets, it's typical Met thing to do. Hey, isn't it? Is it not just a typical Met thing to do? It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's the American League East is quite bad. The Yankees are rolling along pretty good, 2 out of 3, so they're doing all right. Maybe I'll do another show later on this week, talk some Yankees baseball. Maybe get Eric on the show, see how they're doing. But yeah, it was interesting to see that all with the Yankees, and good on the Yankees for winning some games lately and getting things rolling, even with the depleted pitching stuff. So yeah, there it is. There's the little baseball talk for the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. Brought to you by Righteous Felon Jerky. Some final thoughts going into this weekend in the sports. Baseball's getting going. NHL playoffs are rolling around pretty. NHL getting rolling into the 3rd round all of a sudden, and then it's before you know it, it's the Stanley Cup Finals. Then you're into summer, and then the Bulls baseball season starts. Their guys rolling in next week, and they get rolling, so it's going to get busy. But over the weekend, and so it's sport and it's a lot of fun, and I'm lucky to be a part of it in many different ways. Whether it be on this podcast, broadcasting now on HN Live, which is going to be onto Flow Sports, and then onto obviously with my role with Leverage Bulls. So I'm quite lucky to be involved in sports. So I've been a big part of my life. But over the weekend, you kind of get the human element of sports, and you remember what gets important and what's not. Was I upset that the Toronto Maple Leafs lost last night? Yeah, but perspective, right? I knew I had to do. Well, I'd have to work today, but I did some stuff. I did a bullhorn earlier on, so I still had some work stuff to do. See, perspective, and then you watch some other games, and you go, yeah, you're mad, and you swear, and you go, okay, well, I still got to go to work, or there's other problems in life. There's other real life issues that go on. Update. My sister had to put and her family put Scout down, the dog, a couple days ago on Wednesday. The cancer spread through his lungs really quick, and then so they had to put him down. So real sad situation for my sister, and I'm gonna miss that big lug. But so it is perspective when it comes to that. And on Friday night, Mark Scheifele lost his father. I don't know the ins and outs. It's none of my business whether it got reported or not. I do not know. But Mark Scheifele, Winnipeg Jets player, all-time great Winnipeg Jet, been there for a long time. One of the nicer guys in sports. He doesn't swear, he doesn't cuss, he does none of that. It's like he's a salt of the earth kind of a guy. Lost his father, but he decided to play in that game on Saturday night anyways, even though his father had just passed away less than 24 hours earlier. And I don't know if I'd be able to do it when my dad passed away. I was a bit of a mess for a few days, but that is his job, and that is his obligation to the Jets organization, who's paid him a lot of money over the years, and to the fan base of the Winnipeg Jets. To go out there and play hockey is a pretty remarkable thing to do. When he scored the first goal of that game, you thought this is going to be a storybook. I don't want to say ending, but a storybook beginning to maybe a Jets run to a Stanley Cup. But of course, in life, things do change. And Scheifele took a penalty late in the third period of that game against the Dallas Stars, and of course, the Dallas Stars ended up winning that game on that power play. And you could see people all over were just saying, "Oh man, like this, that couldn't like worst case scenario where a guy who just lost his father took a penalty late in the game and then ended up losing the series on that power play." And it was a worst case scenario for sure. But it puts things into perspective that it's just sport, and there is other things in life that do matter a lot more. To get all mad and butthurt when your team loses, I get it. You're upset, and that's your right to be. But to look at the big picture of things, that's what people really need to do. And over the weekend, like I said, when I was at the College World Series here, Canadian College World Series here in Lethbridge, a lot of kids were playing baseball for the last time. They were playing their last competitive matches of their life, their last competitive games of their life. They were never going to be part of a real team anymore. Yeah, they might go on and play beer leagues or something like that, or slow pitch, where it might be, but to be part of a team and the regiment and everything else. And then you saw a lot of the parents sitting around, hanging around afterwards, and these kids are 22, 23 years old, seniors in university, and then they're done. And so it's perspective too with that. You go, okay, these kids go through a lot, and they're part of a team, and they have structure, and now they don't. So they got to go into the real world, and they're not a part of it anymore. And it can get a little bit heartbreaking watching that. And it puts in perspective. You shouldn't be yelling at kids, and you shouldn't be yelling at these guys and yelling at that guy, especially amateur sports, amateur athletes. It shouldn't be the end of the world. And parents really have to take a step back with all this crap that's going on. They do, and they should. A lot more parents should be forced to go to those kind of events and see what it's like for the graduating players who never get to play again. And these parents who are maniacal and crazy, and the money they're spending, and then for what? For another year? And all the craziness that happens in the world of amateur sports. And you see these parents and the heartbreak that they go through, and then the heartbreak that these kids have when they're done. A lot of kids, they got to play their last game yesterday, and they won. So there is that. But then they woke up today and they were going to the real world too. So it was all done for them too. So it's perspective in the sports world to go out and burn your jersey and everything else. That's your prerogative. It doesn't make you smart, but that's your prerogative to do something like that. And it is heartbreaking to see those things. And my heart goes out to the Scheifele family. And it was just a heartbreaking thing to see. And when you get a chance to play, and he went out and played, and you got to admire that a lot. Because I was thinking, like, when I was doing the broadcast the other day, like, once again, how lucky I am to be a part of it. And memories started to flood back into my head when I was an athlete, and I got to play in Spitz Stadium when I was in high school, and then when I went to play junior hockey, and a little cup of coffee in the pros, and how much you miss it, and how much you miss being part of a team, and how important it was for me back then, and all the different people you still remember, and all the friends you made over the years, and all people you still see now and then, and you keep in touch with it. That's what's important with all this stuff, and the friends and family, and the atmosphere, and just being a part of everything, and having that brotherhood, I guess, or sisterhood, or family, I guess you can say, that you have through sports. And to lose your absolute marbles over a game doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. So there was some perspective with the Scheifele family on Saturday night, and then, like I said, yesterday when I got to broadcast those games, then just watching and being and listening and just being a part of it, it was really special. And you just really, perspective is a huge thing, and you get to see something like that. It opens your eyes quite a bit that, you know what, it is just a game. I mean, we can come on here and complain on podcasts, and it's fun, and you get the conversations around the sports bar. That's what we're trying to do here at the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. So anyways, there's my little final thought for the day on this Monday afternoon, May 19th, 2025. Today's show, as always, brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Save yourself $15 or $20 on your first purchase. 20. but Canadian versus American money, not saying anything. Anyways, there it is for the show. Remember, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. And remember, doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. Take care of yourself, but more important, take care of each other. More important, take care of yourself. Need you around. Keep your stick on the ice. Don't swing at high pitches. And have yourself a great week. And wishing you all a pleasant good night. Thanks for tuning into the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. For beer and sports talk and a whole lot more, brought to you by SeatGeek. Go to bellyupsports.com for the best of sports articles and podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast. Let's get in.